Hi, I'm Meg. As ma'am said, I'm an English student at St. Stephen's College. I'll be presenting on how strategic narratives can be made and utilized for UDA using media and civilizational diplomacy. So, firstly, a narrative is not just information but a story that shapes perception, inspires action, and assigns meaning. Any narrative that focuses on UDA should emphasize on its multifaceted contributions, such as how ocean is a shared heritage. Because marine ecosystems are interconnected, we all share responsibilities for safeguarding their health. UDA can also help in a secure future by not just focusing on defense, but also on safeguarding maritime trade, ensuring energy security, and preventing illegal activities like smuggling and IUU fishing. It can also act as a blue economy enabler because it can allow for sustainable growth in sectors such as fisheries, aquaculture, offshore energy, and even marine tourism. It can act as a guardian of tropical waters. So now tropical waters face unique challenges and opportunities such as suboptimal performance of conventional sonars. So how UDA can help in the same? It can provide a localized and innovative solution for that. It can also play an important role in being eyes pin at the base for disaster resilience by preventing disasters by giving early warnings for storms and tsunamis, and also focusing on HADR operations, that are humanitarian assistance and disaster relief operations, by providing real-time data. Thus, there's an overall need to build public awareness, attract talent, encourage investment, and influence policymaking to ensure that UDA is prioritized. The first strategy could be to directly engage with diverse stakeholders using social media and workshops. This needs to be a six-step process. We need to understand stakeholders and their needs as well as expectations. We need to modify communication channels to adhere to the same. Transparency and trust building needs to be a long-term process. The communication needs to be two-way, so it's not just us who are sharing information, but they're also giving their feedback and reviews through discussions and question and answer sessions. Cultural sensitivity plays a really important role, especially in the South Asian and the Indian context, where we need to use vernacular languages and also focus on visual content to engage with areas with low literacy rates. Expectations need to be managed and sustained over a long term period. So, again, the process needs to be really comprehensive. The first stakeholder group that we can engage with would be policymakers and bureaucrats. This can be done through tailored digital reports, workshops, as well as webinars and so on. And the narrative focus here needs to be on policy implications, economic benefits, as well as how UDA can help in flagship government initiatives such as the Blue Economy Mission. High quality infographics can also be used for the same, as you can see on the image on the right. Scientific community and researchers are another important stakeholder group that can be engaged with using joint publications in academic journals, data exchanges, open data sharing wherever appropriate, exclusive webinars, and so on. The narrative focus here needs to be on technological advancements as well as scientific breakthroughs that UDA enables, along with research collaboration opportunities. Industry and private sectors could be engaged with through business to business communication channels, industry summits both online and offline, as well as compelling UDA case studies of successful applications in sectors such as deep sea mining, offshore energy, and sustainable aquaculture. The narrative focus here needs to be on innovation ecosystems as well as investment opportunities. We can also have a predictable regulatory mechanism that is based on MSP. Fishing communities and coastal populations are yet another important stakeholder group. We need to directly engage with them through localized workshops that are conducted in vernacular languages, community radio programs, as well as short videos that can be disseminated through local networks. The narrative focus here needs to be on direct benefits to livelihoods, enhanced safety at sea, sustainable fishing practices, as well as disaster preparedness through early warnings for natural disasters such as tsunamis and storms. General public and youth needs to be the broadest stakeholder group that we can engage with through social media campaigns on Instagram and YouTube, interactive museum exhibits, school level educational programs, as well as citizen science platforms. The focus here needs to be on, as you can see, acoustic capacity and capability building by telling them about career opportunities in marine science and technology, as well as fascinating facts about the underwater world, so their knowledge is enhanced. Now, besides engaging with direct stakeholders, we also need to focus on media influences to shape public opinion and policy discourse. This can be either done through traditional media such as newspapers and television news, where we can utilize op eds and concise press releases to focus on UDA's research milestones as well as the new technology that has been deployed. Press interviews on national television news channels can also be conducted with experts who can talk about disaster preparedness, marine security challenges, as well as economic benefits, which are all topics that appeal to a mainstream audience, so the broad audience can be collaborated here. Digital news portals such as online magazines and blogs, specifically the Diplomat and London School of Economics, the South Asia Center in particular, can be used to publish feature articles and investigative pieces on UDA's real world impacts as well as its policy initiatives. Data journalism can also be used to visualize UDA's immense insights. Thus, the goal is to consistently inject UDA narratives into national conversations and frame it as an essential investment for India's maritime future. Civilizational diplomacy for India, particularly in the IOR and Indo Pacific, plays an important role in a narrative strategy here. Now, what exactly is civilizational diplomacy? It focuses on common cultural ties, shared values, as well as historical connections to allow for genuine collaboration. This can be done through joint cultural festivals and maritime heritage exhibitions that celebrate UDA's role in, shared ocean histories, nautical histories, as well as oceanic folklore that can create a common emotional ground for collaboration. Academic and expert exchanges can be facilitated between marine scientists, policymakers, as well as historians. The report that you can see on the right is a project report that is based on the UDA framework and that was recently submitted to the Niti Aayog. It forms a really good example for this. Common narratives of ocean stewardship can also be built using joint educational materials and public awareness campaigns on UDA concepts, modern tools, as well as indigenous technologies, as well as their knowledge and traditional practices. The e-learning modules provided by MRC on the image on the right form a good example of how common narratives can be built to ensure ocean stewardship. Now, the IFC IOR is the Information Fusion Center for the Indian Ocean region. We have a case study on the same. It was built by the Indian Navy in 2018 to allow for data fusion from various sources to create a common operational picture. Its motto is information sharing for a safe and secure IOR. It has international liaison officers from over 28 countries to allow for trust building and personal relationships. Media influence plays a really important role here as it publishes regular reports, conducts workshops, and engages with media to focus on its role on combating threats such as illegal fishing as well as piracy. Now, while it is focused on surface MDA, it is pretty relevant in providing a blueprint for how UDA insights, once collected, can also be disseminated regionally to build trust and a shared understanding through media influences and civilizational diplomacy. Lastly, innovation in UDA narratives and outreach is pretty important to take our strategy forward. This can be done through immersive experiences such as virtual reality and augmented reality to allow people to literally dive into the underwater world as well as engage with marine ecosystems and UDA operations in a truly fun way. Gamification can also help, especially for younger audiences and school students, to allow them to experience ocean health as well as UDA's role in enhancing the same, marine security challenges. They can learn about all of that in a fun and interactive way through the use of games. Citizen science platforms can also be used by developing mobile apps to report coastal challenges as well as acoustic monitoring of marine life to allow the public to participate and feel a sense of shared ownership and contribution. Data storytelling and public dashboards can also help to translate complex UDA insights into simplified and interactive dashboards that visualize marine traffic, pollution hotspots, and climate indicators to allow for informed decisions to be made. And that was all about how UDA strategies can be developed through a two pronged approach of media influences and civilizational diplomacy. I would like to thank you all for your attention.